Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Jules here. So today we're going to continue working on the bag install for the Shelby GT350. So we started early this morning. I didn't start recording until now. Wanted to get a head start and everything. So this is how the car looks. So I'm going to show you guys everything that we did. So number one, we took off the fender liner. So the fender liner has about 10 clips holding the fender liner, and as you guys can see, for the fender liner, it has the air duct right there, the suspension, and then right here is where we ran the lines, as you guys can see. So you cut the little nipple off, and then you get a fish wire and basically fish all of the power cables and electrical components through right there. So all of that stuff is right here. So what we did was fish them through here, which comes down here where near the headers and come up behind this plastic piece right here, as you guys can see. So it just comes right there where you guys see kind of like this tin foil right down there. It routes through that corner and goes right there exactly where the tin foil goes. So right there. So as you guys can see, we have the airline. It's right here. We just put a cover over it. We have the height sensor right here too, ran through there. Height sensor right there. And then we have our two power wires right here, and we have our fuse wire right here as well. So all that stuff is ran through right there. The first thing was taking these seats out. If you just reach your hand underneath here in the middle, like right here, there's a clip. It's like a little plastic clip that you pushes in, that pushes in on the other side, and this whole thing just lifts up, and this whole thing comes out. So pretty easy for the rear seats. Back seats are out. Took the back seats out, and here's an airline right here going to the back, and right here underneath the carpet, as you guys can see, here's all the airlines and stuff. And underneath the carpet, it goes straight up. You pull all of this back and it goes up in that corner. The rubber hose piece is right here. And the best thing to do is get like a fish liner, something like this, and put tape around it to fish it through, to be able to get the stuff through back and forth. So that's what we did. So right now we're working on the other height sensors right there, but as you guys can see, the front right airline is up to the front, and the front right sensor is plugged in. So now we're working on the front left. So we're going to show you guys the process with this one. And as you guys can see, he's taking off the hood latch now and pop that panel out. It's out just a little bit to get underneath here. And everything's back here. So this fender liner's out, all the clips are right here, and then you cut that little piece off right there where the nipple is to run the airline and the height sensor for this side on the driver's side. And this is how back here look. This is the suspension, stock suspension. This is the oil cooler that goes behind of the front bumper. So the air goes right there to that oil cooler. They got one on each side, and as you guys can see, this car has a lot of aerodynamics to it. You can see the air duct coming from right there, comes out here. But I popped the hood latch. So with the hood latch, there is kind of like, you guys can see, they kind of have like a little dimple to it. Yeah, I got it. Yep. So you push down on it, and push down on each side and pull the latch out. So that's what I did right here. He was struggling with it. Come on, guys. Come on, man. I got this. All right, so we're gonna fish the height sensor through. And now I'm gonna come over here. Yeah, it's 2 pieces of rubber it goes through. You fished it through? You're right, you're right.
You got the wire?
Yep.
Pull it, okay, pull the wire.
So after we do that, just pull the whole damn thing. Uh-oh. Is it coming?
Yeah.
Alright, it's looking scary for a second.
Hold on.
It's looking scary for a second. So I got the wire right here. Hold.
Yeah, hold it. Okay. Go ahead.
Ooh, this thing is getting hard. Can you, I think the screwdriver helps. It opens up a door for it.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm trying. There we go. And as you guys can see, she's pulling through. And this is the height sensor.
Nice.
Keep going.
Cool. Keep going.
Front left. And the cable, the extended cable, and the actual connections are all labeled front left, front right, rear left, rear right.
Okay.
And then we're gonna plug the air line for the front right into the management.
This one, right?
Yep, the second one. Yep. So you just push it in there and then pull.
Okay.
Ran the line back here all the way up to right there. So front left, front right is done. Now we can put back the panels, which is putting back the panel on the driver's side.
Which one? This one goes in.
The one next to the...
This here?
Nope. The other one.
This one here?
Yeah.
This one? You sure no?
Yep, that's the rear right. So we're just gonna
Okay, wait.
push it in and pull it. So we're doing the rears, putting the rear airline through, and it goes through the hole right behind the strut. So we took the strut off.
So we need to cut the whole line about there?
Probably a bit lower.
You want a little longer than that?
Yeah. Here's the air outline. So we're gonna hook it up from there to where the drain plug is. There's plenty enough. So it's in there. And as you guys can see, we just got one more airline to run. And that's it. But I'm just gonna, the airline's right here, I'm just gonna run it through the hole that's already there so we can have the drain out. But the camera did not want to stand up in this little section of a trunk. So do that real quick. The cord off that I'm in, and he's taking the Shelby because we got to drive back. We're not going to be there all day because we want to work on a Shelby. The Shelby GT350, when you hit it, this car like it squats with the suspension like crazy. It really squats a lot. So hopefully, I think with the dampening, being able to stiffen up the dampening, it should help with the little bit of jump. Damn, look at those sequencers. Woo. But it should help with the when you step down on it and it dips. But you can see it has a little bit of 4x4 action to it. But when you get beside it, it's freaking pretty low. That splitter in the front. Running through them gears, man. Running through them gears. Damn, the thing is a little bit loud, but oh man. And even and it can get louder than this. As you guys can see, this is how she sits right now. So it's like a two or one finger gap, as you guys can see. Not much, but it's a little finger gap. Much of a finger gap. I would say a beast 2-inch finger gap, but you guys can see how low the splitter is on the ground right there. So it's a little bit low to the ground, but it's about a 2-inch finger gap all around the car. But y'all can hear, I'm gonna roll it down so you can hear. Car is screaming. Next day. Now we're taking off the rear strut to run airline and twist the shop. Shock it out. It's Magna Ride full performance. But to get the height sensor through in the airline, you gotta make the hole a little bit bigger. Car on all 4 jack stands. And now, those are the 2 long ones.
Over the head. 2 long ones, 2 short ones.
2 long ones, 2 short ones.
This for this. Put them for the short one. Okay, there's a retainer. 1 retainer. 1 retainer. Okay. Saying the one we use. Yes, these are what we use. Okay.
Alright guys, so we have the rears laid out, the rear bag, 2 longer bolts, 2 shorter bolts, the rear perch for the bottom and for the top, and a little washer. Is this the top bracket? one of the longer bolts go right here, and then with the retainer, and two of the shorter bolts, which is going to be the last bolts you have, go on the ones on each side, and then we're going to tighten them down. To 27 Newton meters. So we got torque the two bolts to 27 Newton meters, like the instructions say.
Where my glass? Okay, we are already at Newton meters.
For the rear strut, here's the Magnaride one, here's this one. So you gotta make some modifications to get the bolt to go through, because it's a little bit wider on the Magnaride strut. So that's the main issue that you'll only probably have with the Shelby GT350.
It's gonna be. So I needed to come in, cut a little bit more on the inside in here.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
So it's cutting it. So we're taking off the top piece for the other strut, and without damaging, basically messing up the strut, you gotta take that piece off where the wires are connected to it. If you don't, this nut won't be able to go past that. Alright guys, so I have to show you guys something. So look at this, right? We need to put this on here, right? It's on there, the nut is on there, right? Now look at this, Magnaride, right? What happened here? This is the connection that goes inside of this into this. Alright guys, so you guys are probably wondering, how did we get the top piece of the strut off of the rear shocks for the Shelby GT350? So to be able to get that top piece that you need to put on the other aftermarket shock that's from Airlift, you either could cut the wire, and because it won't, the nut that's on the shock will not pass through the plug that goes into the Magnaride. So you can either cut the strut and basically destroy the shock, the rear shocks for the Magnaride, and you will never be able to use that shock again if you destroy it. But that is crazy. So what if you ever want to go back to the Magnaride? You will not you do not want to destroy that shock. So what we used was, this car actually has the Ford brake light on there. So we have the Diodynamic Ford brake light, and what it comes with is this little black tool right here. And this tool is, which we have a video of using it, is basically in each of these little clips on the car. If you push that tool in, it pops the connection out. So that's what we use to basically not destroy the nut and take the big harness, the black one that's on the rear shocks, take that harness or whole thing apart and pop those little plugs out. And then we was able to take the nut on top of the shock and take the two bolts that goes onto the body of the car and take that off the strut and put it on the aftermarket strut and bolt it back to the car. So this is what we use to take the connectors out of the plug and play connection that's into the dampener. So that is one key if you guys decide to run aftermarket suspension on your S550, is this is really helpful. And I believe we also used a paper clip to help with the connection, but this was really helpful. So that is what we use. So the main thing was definitely that we did not want to destroy the Magnaride, because our main goal, of course, is to try something different that's a little bit I guess, stiffer and more aggressive than the Magna Ride. So we are taking a risk. This whole process with bagging the GT350 is taking a risk to see how much of a difference will it be with the airlift performance, because it is definitely a lot similar with the height sensors and everything and the ride quality, and then you have the adjustable dampening, so definitely stuffing up the car. And I'm not gonna lie, the Magna Ride is pretty stiff when you ride it, and the steering is really direct, but everybody wants that feeling to be a little bit more stiffer, more planted on the ground, little things like that. So that is the main reason why we're gonna try and test the bags and see how they perform, because I have bags on my car and they really perform well with the height sensors and everything on corners, and it's really stiff and it's really direct, and the height sensors keep you in one place and you're not rolling all over the car, and the body roll is horrendous. So that is key. So that is why we decided that we wanted to back the car and have the adjustability of not damaging the car as well, because that front lip is pretty low. So here is a big key factor for the Shelby GT350 without destroying the rear shocks.
No, I finished.
Alright guys, so it's the next day. The rears are done. All we have to do is the front. I'll show you how we did the rears when the weather stops raining a little bit. But now we're gonna do the front struts. The L right there to indicate the bag. This is the left side. And you got your braided lines. So we started in the first line to the bag. You don't have to put Teflon on there because it has that orange stuff already on there, dirt sealant. And just make sure you use the right fitting for the end, because there's 3/8 and 1/4, so we have 1/4 lines. You can run either or. It's easier to run 1/4 because the line doesn't crimp as much as the 3/8. Opening up the end links look like this. They come with their own bolts, so the end links are shorter than the stock ones. The end links have this blue cover on it. So you take this blue cover off. The front struts are done. The braided lines are in. The fittings for the inner are done. The end links are ready. The blue cover's off. Now it's time to get in the rain, install them. So as you guys see, the rear bag is in, and then on top of the rear bag, that's where the fitting is that goes to the airline, and the airline goes behind the strut. So as you guys can see, we used a rubber grommet for the hole that we drilled out, so it's not, the wires and the airline is not pinching and scraping on the hole we drill out. So we put like a little circle rubber grommet in there that fits in that hole, so if it rubs, it just rubs on the grommet. So that helps you out with that, for drilling that hole out bigger and not scraping up the airline. And as before, as you guys can see, the strut is in, and then you got your hard and soft right there, the H and the S on the side. So at the bottom of the, okay, so we had to modify basically the strut, as you guys can see, on each end, and you can see how much it sticks out for where the bolt goes in to the bottom of the strut. As you guys can see, the threads on how much it sticks out, and we were saying the same thing, like it's barely gonna be holding on there, but it's snug. It's definitely snug enough, especially when you take a power tool to it. So that's how it looks right there and right there. So that's the modification that you need for the rear for the Shelby GT350. And where the bag holds, there's a black piece that holds the bottom of the bag, and you use a washer and bolt, and it screws into the bottom of the bag. And the same thing for the top as well. There's a little bolt in there, and I'll post the videos and the PDF instructions that we used to put this part in. It's self-explanatory, and you got to follow the instructions to do that part, but that's how it looks. And we routed the line around there, behind there, and into the bag, as you guys can see. It's your power on.
As soon as you push the clutch in?
Yeah, as soon as mine goes on the on position.